Good day, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've never been, if you've been here before, and welcome to new visitors and new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to have you here, and just thank you for clicking on my channel. But anyway, let's have a little prayer. Holy Spirit, Holy Ancestors, Holy Spirit, guys, please keep myself and the collective protected during this reading, and no weapon formed against us shall prosper. All negative energy projections will be returned to sender, dissolved in the ether, or deemed ineffective as the Holy Spirit sees fit. Okay, so I've got a little message. I don't know if any of you know a little bit about Aesop's fables, but I've got a message from one of those stories. So, and it was about the crow that came across a pitcher, a water vessel, right? And there was only a little bit of water in the bottom of it, but he couldn't get to the bottom to get a drink out, right? And so, because the top of the pitcher was not big enough for him to put his head into, and so he tried tipping it over, couldn't tip it over. So then he thought, so the crow thought, right? He got a thought to put pebbles into the water and keep adding the pebbles to the water until the water rose up in the pitcher, and then he could get a drink, right? So the message in that is the necessity. Necessity is the mother of all invention. So it's, going without or having a problem, having something to have to think about out of necessity for being able to have a drink or whatever to meet our needs of whatever that may be, causes us to think, right, outside of the box, perhaps, just to think, think differently, to be able to come up with new ideas. So, sometimes we have to go through, uncomfortable situations and whatnot to be able to grow, to grow and grow in our development, in our human development. That's how it's the invention of everything, is having that necessity. And most of the time with that necessity, it's something that has put us into an uncomfortable situation, right, for us to learn something new. It's like the rats that discovered nuts in a tree because of a flood. A catastrophe caused these rats to go up a tree, whereas before they never thought to go up a tree and get these nuts, right? And then from that day forward, those rats went up trees and got nuts. So anyway, let's see what the spirit has for the collective today, all right? So thank you for being here on this beautiful day. So we have retrograde and review. So this is reviewing some sort of transit. Yeah, so this is what this is. So we've got transit and review. Climate. So what's happening, what's in the climate around us. And we're reviewing a situation. So it's like, so this is working something out, right? So something's going on. This is a transitional stage of some sort. So whatever is going on around us in our, wherever we are, it could be the climate, it could be, whatever's going on, right? Whatever's going on in this change, it could be somebody moving house or, like transiting from one to another transiting from one stage of growth to another stage of growth. And this is reviewing that. So this could be somebody's already gone through the transit and then they're looking back and reviewing that change, that move, that whatever it is for you. Okay? And we have the hearth. So this is leaving the home. It's in reverse. So it could have been leaving a home, a Vesta. So wherever that flame was, that gives me that, like the solid home foundation, the hearth, that's where the food's made, in the fire. It's where families gather together and, get comfort and warmth and, sustenance. So this is in reverse. So this is somebody leaving the nest, perhaps. Or they've had to leave the nest and they're looking back at this transition. So somebody could be, like leaving the nest, leaving home. It could be, like for whatever reason, leaving a whole community, perhaps. And it could be to do with some sort of climate situation for someone. Yeah, things might have got too hot in the oven, perhaps, We've got the sun in reverse, source. So whatever some sort of discomfort came from, this is reversed. So this is looking at the source of some sort of discomfort. Could have been somebody's family home or somewhere where somebody was comfortable. Looking back, somebody is looking for the source of something, you know what I mean? I think that came out in a reading just recently, looking for the source, where something began to, like, this is somebody, because this is a review, right? This is somebody going back and in retrospect and looking for the source of something that caused this seismic shift I just heard. This could be a seismic shift in somebody's family, like the flood for the rats, you know what I mean? What was this? What was the root cause? Somebody's looking at that. The source of the original, and that was appropriate, that fabled story. Like for the crow, he had to do something different, like putting the pebbles into the water to make the water rise so he could get a drink. So somebody had to do something outside of what they would be normally doing. In order to receive sustenance. Or to learn something, right? Somebody had to go through something to learn something. What was it? We've got resources. The origin of a resource, second house. So this is money and food and, things that keep us sustained. Resources. Interesting. So the original source of some sort of resource. Somebody's tracking something. Somebody's tracking. Somebody could be tracking somebody's, where somebody's resources come from. And then we've got balance with Libra. Someone could be a Libra. I don't think so, though. Well, it would be possibly, right? But this is balancing out somebody's resources. Somebody had to step outside the box. It's a bit like those rats having to go up a tree, so do something different to get new resources, to get the nuts, right? So this is somebody actually going back and thinking about this. Or somebody could actually be having their... somebody could actually be audited or something like that, you know, like somebody reviewing where somebody's fundings come from, something like that. This could be an audit. But it ends here with balance, so that's a good thing. The bottom of the deck, we've got strength, but it's weakness, dignified, undignified. Somebody it may have been something that wasn't very dignified for them to get their resources. Interesting. So somebody may have done something outside the box to get their resources, is what I'm getting here. So it was undignified. Outside of the norm. What did they do? Wow, this is interesting. Transit. Okay, clarify the transit, please, Spirit, the climate, the situation. Interesting. So we've got the Five of Swords. This is like treachery. Or, this is something. But then we've got a Hierophant. This could be some sort of organisation, possibly could be being audited. Somebody could have been... Yeah, this is giving somebody a headache. It could be like a leader of an organisation or something like that. This person could have got to their position in a unorthodox type of way to climb the ladder. You know, I'm getting, see the staircase to get to the top. They did something unorthodox. Could have been because they were jealous or something. It's given somebody a headache because now they're being audited. This is interesting, very interesting. Retrograde review. So this is somebody being reviewed for how they got to where they are. Waiting for their ships to come in. You're waiting for the next wave. Review. So this is like, retrograde's always like the past coming back around, like this is like karma coming back on something. Everything always comes back around if something needs to be exposed or dealt with. Everything's in review. The Three of Wands. What is this next wave? Waiting for their ships to come in. Somebody could be waiting for their tax or something like this. We've got a Queen of Wands in reverse. So she's in reverse. So this is a feminine energy. Doesn't have to be. It can be a masculine, feminine energy. It could be somebody that's actually in, this is a business person. This could be a leader of some business. But they've done something, and because she's in reverse, this person has done something foolish to climb the ladder. They went out on a limb. They went, fuck it, I'm just going to throw myself all into something here. Now they're being reviewed. Clarify the Hierophant, though, please, Spirit. What is this Hierophant? Or who is this Hierophant? The third parties. This is a group. This is the Three of Cups. This is an organisation, a group, something that is being reviewed, right? A company, I heard. Some sort of company. Vesta. The Hearth is in reverse. What did they have to do outside of the hearth? It's going to be a family. There's no new beginning here. So we've got no new beginning with this. The death is in reverse, or that something has not ended with a wish fulfillment or a family group. We have a King of Swords in reverse. This is somebody who's, a bit cutthroat, quite cutthroat person here. They don't want any beef. They don't want any conflict. But this person was conflict. This person was cutthroat themselves. But they don't want any conflict. But they might have caused somebody else to maybe leave the hearth. Because somebody did something that wasn't right, maybe towards a Queen of Swords, the bottom of the deck. They didn't care. Somebody didn't care. They were ruthless in some group that caused some change. So somebody is looking at the cause. So with the Sun in reverse is the source of a situation, the source of the change, right? Like, so this could be like the collective coming into abundance, for instance. Somebody else here caused a catastrophe because somebody's looking at the source of the catastrophe for somebody else's growth and to gain balance, which is so interesting. Okay, so we've got the source. So the reversal of the hearth, the upheaval of somebody's stability, the hearth, the family home, perhaps the guts of something, which is, where your fire is burnt, you know what I mean? Somebody's got their boundaries up, their guard up now. Temperance. So somebody's trying to temper a comeback. Could be a Sagittarius here with the Queen of Wands being in reverse. So, and we could have an Aquarius here with the King of Swords in reverse, Aquarius or Gemini or Libra. Well, we do have a Libra over here with balance, but this King of Swords is in reverse. Under the hearth, the Vesta is in reverse. So somebody's not getting a new beginning with a wish fulfillment with a family. Somebody's not getting a new beginning with a family or this organisation. So this person could be under review for their performance. Clarify the Temperance, please, and the Seven of Wands. So we do have a Nine of Cups. So somebody had some success here. Look. So this was. So this is like cause and effect, right? Like, so somebody caused a catastrophe for somebody. Maybe like somebody causing somebody to maybe leave the hearth, the nest, the center of something, and it caused someone to put their boundaries up. And with Temperance, we've got the Nine of Cups and then success. With the with the Six of Wands. It caused somebody to go within and think outside the box. They looked at the source. The guts of something. Where somebody was putting their cups or giving their love to. Or this is a discovery. This is the discovery. Tempering, though. This is tempering the cups. Tempering somebody's, what they got coming in. What, in the cups. Their resources. And that caused somebody to put their boundary up because somebody, it may have... somebody done something to, Oh my goodness, we've got a King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. I'm just going to have to put the aircon on. I'll just come over. Oh, really hot. Hang on. Just bear with me for a moment. Sorry about that. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we've got a King of Wands who didn't care. That, you see, they were ruthless. They never cared about, somebody took somebody's hearth away, took somebody's heart away, took somebody's life away. So somebody's looking at the source of why somebody's got their boundaries up. This is it. So somebody's tempered, or somebody tempered somebody's Nine of Cups to get a victory for themselves. They took away somebody's Nine of Cups, somebody's wish fulfillment. But the cause, so that's the cause. This person, whoever this Hierophant is a leader of some sort of group or family. And retrograde, somebody's reviewing a Queen of Wands actions, foolish actions. They're looking at what they got coming in. And this person's under review. So this person could be under review from this leader of this group or family or organisation, whatever the hell it is, as to causing a catastrophe with the loss of a hearth, somebody losing their wish fulfillment. Somebody didn't want conflict, and so it's like this could be somebody being banished so that they didn't cause conflict or something like that. So somebody's got their guard up now to whatever the source is, the cause of the catastrophe, right? Could be Sagittarius, the cause. So somebody's got their boundaries up towards this person. That could be love bombing somebody to get accolades, you know what I mean? Somebody could be like all over somebody to get accolades. Like over the top, you know, like just over the top. Whilst somebody else lost. But with the resources, clarify the resources, please, Spirit. Because remember, this was why somebody had to heal. So this is unhealed or not ended resources, never-ending resources. So somebody did something to gain never-ending resources. But remember, this is about cause and effect. Four of Swords, so something was not over. Queen of Wands come out in reverse. This is arrogance. Somebody was arrogant about their resources. They just thought it was always just going to be there. This is like overconsumption, you know what I mean? Like overindulgence, always thinking that something's going to be there, never really questioning the source of where that is coming from. So somebody might have just been kept maybe spending or consuming with the Nine of Cups here, like they're entitled, you know what I mean, to all these resources, and they just thought it was going to keep coming and coming. So this was some sort of arrogance that somebody had, this King of Wands, entitlement, you know what I mean? King of Wands, clarify. They didn't care. No, they didn't care where it was coming from as long as they were having it, as long as they were getting it. Nine of Swords in reverse. They may have been getting it from somebody who did have accolades. So like taking from somebody else by giving them love. Oh, wow. You know, love bombing. It could be, I just heard selling the soul. We have news. There's a message here. Good news on resources. So this is what goes around, comes around, right? This could be good news for somebody. Yeah, balancing the pentacles. So somebody's going to balance something out here. Somebody's reviewing something. So they may have realized that in retrospect where a situation developed. Somebody's under review for sure, and somebody may have realized that they were arrogant, and now we've got some sort of balance here. Somebody might want to balance something out with the resources after causing so with the Death in reverse, after causing a loss of the hearth, something never changed in a family or in this group, organisation, what it is. Or somebody's consumption maybe didn't change, or somebody didn't want to do something because they didn't want to have any conflict. Or somebody did something because they didn't want conflict. If that makes any sense. Somebody might have been jealous of somebody. They certainly wanted to win at all costs. Somebody wanted to climb that ladder, be on the top, you know, be the leader. But this person, I feel, on reflection, did something foolish. A Queen of Wands in reverse. Waited for their ships to come in. They're waiting for something to come in. But the hearth is in reverse. This Queen of Wands is, I just heard a user. They did something at the wrong time. So they had no transformation, like they didn't grow. That's what I'm getting here. With the death and rebirth in reverse, there was no transformation in this organisation, family, group, or whatever it is. There was no growth. There was nothing coming from somebody's hearth, somebody's fire, somebody's core. For a King of Swords, because this was a cold, I just said, I just heard a cold motherfucker, you know. But they didn't want conflict. Somebody didn't want conflict with this person. It might be because they're ruthless. So somebody might have been being like a bit soft or weak or something because they didn't want conflict. They didn't want to question somebody. But now we're under review, right? So somebody was not questioned, but there was a boundary put up. There was that Seven of Wands. Or somebody's being defensive now because they're under review. Somebody's looking at the source. Why did something happen? Where did this situation arise? It was to do with somebody being jealous, doing something foolish, to get to the top, to be, like they were trying to get themselves into a high position. And they could have been love bombing, you know what I mean, to get to those accolades, like they're being defensive about it now. Somebody may be defensive about it now and tempering themselves. So this can be, throwing themselves at someone for accolades, or throwing something, like love, giving all. And so now they're being tempered with that. This is also giving, this could be somebody, like, this could be also, somebody stopping somebody from actually being successful. So this is tempering that. That could have been what this person did, was tempered somebody else's success. So somebody is looking at this. Somebody could be looking at and reviewing where somebody got their accolades, and on the other hand, could be being defensive about stopping somebody else's accolades. So for their own rise to the top, for their own transition, shift in resources, and somebody was very arrogant here with the King of Wands. They're unhealed, or something is not over, the resources. Somebody wanted never-ending consumption. Resources. They didn't care at all cost. It was all cost. They wanted the resources at all costs. They wanted everything. Somebody's getting a message here that something's going to be balanced out. So clarify Libra with balance. So this is actually with balance and Libra, and with the Six of Pentacles here. This is so there is a message coming for someone about this situation, to balance something out. It could be this arrogant person that somebody might have reviewed their own behaviour in something, and they're bringing justice with Libra here. So there is justice in this situation working out. Clarify Libra with justice. Yeah, somebody didn't want to be left out of the cold, or somebody will be coming out of that. They will be returning to the hearth, possibly. So this person was, so there's justice here for somebody who, so we have a new partnership, and I said new partnership, I don't know why, but I said it right. So Two of Cups, clarify this Two of Cups. Somebody's moving on to calmer waters. So somebody's getting a new, so this is I'm saying the new because, and this is justice, because, so this was like somebody caused a catastrophe for somebody's resources. They may not have kicked up about it because they didn't want to have a conflict. But it has been seen that somebody was arrogant, and the message here that somebody's going to balance something out, or they have balanced something out. So somebody might have just walked away from a situation because somebody was like pushing them out of the way. You know what I mean? Pushing them off of their throne. Okay, 6 of Swords. So somebody might have just walked away, like they didn't want to be left out in the cold, but they've walked away, moving to calmer waters, and they're getting some other partnership here. 6 of Swords. Clarify. Yeah, they made a decision to move to calmer waters. 2 of Swords. This is a pretty straightforward reading, isn't it? Somebody weighing things up. They have to make a decision. Okay. 2 of Pentacles. Clarify the 2 of Pentacles. Yeah, somebody's going to make an offer. Or get an offer. Someone's going to get an offer from somebody to balance something out. Page of Pentacles. Somebody needs to... A Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So this could be somebody who never gave in the past. And now they want to give. They're weighing things up. They're trying to make a decision. So they're weighing things up to actually make a decision to move to calmer waters for some sort of partnership. Or they might be moving away from a partnership to calmer waters. So somebody... Did I not say that somebody was selling their soul? They were doing something unorthodox for their resources because they didn't want to be left out in the cold. So now they're weighing things up to make some sort of decision. They could be starting all over again with 1 Pentacle. And nobody... And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So with... Somebody's got 1 pentacle with nothing coming in, but... There's no... But it is honest. There's no deception in that. Okay, so this is somebody going from doing something unorthodox and then weighing things up. They want to get out of a situation. They want to move to calmer waters from a partnership. They had to make a decision. They have to weigh things up because they have to start again with nothing, but it is honest money. So somebody had to pull away from something that was dodgy, basically, to start again with 1 Pentacle. So this was sort of like somebody making a decision, reviewing a situation of where they were going to get their warmth from, meaning, you know, like everything one needs to survive, where that source was coming from. So somebody was willing to temper a whole lot of indulgences and accolades for honest, you know, like starting again, like somebody moving to calmer waters. I wanted to walk away from something that was not unethical, okay? There was something unethical in the way somebody was gaining their resources. And I think under review, somebody realizes that they were being arrogant and with some sort of message here. They got some sort of message. So this is like a download, an understanding that they needed to review where they were getting their resources and whether that was ethical or not. And it turns out that somebody didn't want to be left out in the cold, so they had this partnership. But then now they're weighing it up. Now they have to make a decision about where their next pentacle's coming from. This could be that catastrophic change that somebody had to make to find a different way of creating their resources. So where did they end up? And something ethical, right? Because it was hurting someone else. There's the Ten of Swords, whatever it was. Clarify the Ten of Swords, please. Ten of Swords. There was something definitely unethical going on. For stability, there was no love. Yeah, there was no love in a situation to gain stability. It was, I just got ill-gotten gains, you know what I mean? Somebody had to hurt someone else, or there was something unethical in whatever it was in the way that they gained their resources. It could have been to do with magic, manipulation, a player energy, tower. And somebody's going through a tower now, and they realise they've missed an opportunity of love because of it. Because of their manipulative ways. So there was no giving to gain somebody's stability here. There was no love. It was all manipulation and Ten of Swords. It hurt others for somebody to gain their resources. This is what's been under review. So clarify this Knight of Cups. Something's not over. What is not over here with the World in reverse? It's a continued cycle in the dark. This is something going on and on and on and on, around and round and round in circles. Continued. The Moon moving forward. They got a new perspective. So that's good. So this is good news. Somebody's got some new perspective. They're looking themselves. This could be somebody reviewing themselves, looking at their own actions as to how they gain their resources. The Hangman, we have the Queen of Cups, Ace of Wands. So somebody could have been a player. Shit. Or they got a new perspective on someone else. Look, this is a player using their wand, or somebody wants to use their wand on a mother. Well, this is a mother that may be a player, you know what I mean? Well, this could also be somebody's got a different perspective on someone else. See, because we've got this Queen of Wands over here waiting for their ships to come in with foolish accents. So somebody could have actually been saying, yeah, okay. So somebody could have been just saying this about somebody else on reflection about where they got their resources from because they were arrogant. I see. But somebody was not. They were actually ethical with Libra here. This is justice. So there's two scenarios there. Somebody was being labelled a whore, basically, and how they gain their money, but this is not, because somebody may have caused someone, or they tried to cause somebody to actually have to go out and sell themselves out of poverty, right? That's terrible. Somebody weighing up their money, or they might have said that this is what someone did. That was the Ten of Swords. to get their stability. Somebody could have been saying that somebody was selling themselves to get their stability, doing something in the dark over and over again, but somebody's got a new perspective on this. There was no deception. Somebody just worked with what they had. Somebody went up that tree and got some nuts. They didn't take from someone else. Somebody didn't give them anything. No. There was no deception with what somebody was doing. And here we have the message. Somebody was weak in... This could have been gossip, right? Weak gossip. This could have been coming from a Queen of Wands. So this Queen of Wands in reverse. Maybe that's what they did. Because she's in reverse, but this Queen of Cups over here is not. She's in the upright. So this could have been a Queen of Wands, because did I not say somebody was trying to get to the top and crush out someone else, get somebody else away from the hearth, you know, the home or the centre of things. They wanted the accolades. So they tempered somebody else, like caused a catastrophe because of jealousy, because this might be how they gained their resources, by putting somebody else in poverty and trying to cause somebody and to struggle. This is under review. So let's see what comes for an outcome, right? Let's have a look at an outcome. We'll use these. I've only got the 2 decks, so I've got to go from one to the other. Okay, so let's have an outcome for the collective, please. A vision. So the vision could be somebody had a vision, introspection on looking back at a pinnacle, you know, that pinnacle moment, someone's perception under the moon. So yes, because we have a different perspective here with the Hangman in reverse, and then we have, there was a perspective, how someone was seeing something, the mid-heaven, the pinnacle. So somebody came to the head of this scenario, somebody got to the guts of something in retrospective, which is in introspective. There we go, introspective. They had a vision, they seen it. So this is the new vision. Or somebody's seen something, somebody's seen it. They got to the guts of it. So somebody was reviewing something in retrograde about this scenario. So someone was looking back on it, right? And they had a vision, so they seen it. They seen it come to the climax, and they got a different perspective on this scenario. And what did that bring us to, Spirit, for the collective? What is that? Where does that leave the collective? They've got a vision. See, that vision could be that, you know, that this catastrophe, this situation was brought somebody to the pinnacle. You know what I mean? It brought somebody to that position of having to think outside the box. So, in order to gain their resources, you know, how to gain their resources just to survive here. So somebody got some justice because somebody's seen the truth of something. They had a vision. They reviewed the situation. Descendant invitation. So somebody might be going to gain an invitation, but this is with descendant. Somebody might be... Oh, this could have gained some momentum with somebody's descendants here. An invitation is here for... yeah. So on this reflection, this review, somebody's seen somebody develop something here, and, you know, like outside of this situation to change their way of getting their resources without having to sell themselves, right? Somebody didn't want to gain their resources through some sort of unethical gain. And so this has gained some sort of invitation from somebody's, possibly their ancestry, you know, like their descendants, something coming from the, you know, like the ether. Somebody's coming from the past. The ancestors, right? Somebody getting an invitation from the ancestors, something like that. We've got cultivate, a Taurus. So somebody wants to bring somebody, somebody wants to cultivate what somebody developed. This is an invitation for somebody to cultivate whatever it is they developed through this learning change, this transit, because the first card out here was transit. What caused this change? This change, that was the catastrophe, somebody losing everything and having to develop their own way to make their own resources. So somebody's gone back and looked at this, and they're going to give somebody an invitation to cultivate that more, right? That's pretty cool. Collective. Cultivate. Clarify. That's cool. Somebody was passionate about finding another way. So here we have a partnership. So somebody now wants to partner with someone in this cultivating stage. This is an invitation for somebody to partner with somebody to cultivate something together, right? Because somebody's seeing what someone did. They got that new perspective. Dignified strength. With dignified strength, and then we've got ascendant, the entrance. Awesome. This is beautiful. I love having these nice readings. So this is a dignified strength. Somebody got themselves to the top in a dignified manner, whereas somebody else may have been saying that was not the case. Somebody else might have been doing something unethical, but this is restored. So this has gone like, let me show you here. So here we have the vista, and it was in reverse. So somebody lost their place by the fire, you know what I mean? And then they had to rise, they had to go and light their own fire somewhere else, right? And they grew that and have come to the top of this ladder. They've ascended. And then, of course, we have the ascendant, right? In a dignified strength. Dignified way. That means an ethical, moral way. So from descended, the descended, somebody starting from the beginning with that Ace of Pentacles there, right from the bottom, they ascended. And there, look, this is what we had in our reading yesterday. From the descended to the ascended, and somebody's making their entrance. So somebody's somebody's come to their height, right? In this dignified strength, they've got to the height of this. There's their throne on the top of this spiral staircase above the clouds. So this person is like an ascended master. They have ascended in a dignified strength, with a dignified strength, right? They're getting an invitation to make an entrance. This is accolades. So this is and this is what somebody took from someone previously because they were jealous. And then somebody had to start again, right? And then that's taken them to the whole new level, right? So there's the invitation to ascend. Yeah, someone's making their entrance. So congratulations, collective. This is pretty cool. So this was a whole situation that was under review, and now Libra is here. So justice is here, and somebody has been elevated in a dignified strength to ascend and are entering and made their entrance, right? Isn't that cool? So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And so that was the catastrophe, like the crow with the water. He had to think outside the box and put all those stones. He worked hard and he put all those stones into the urn to get the water to rise. So he had to work something out, and this is what this person done. And now someone wants to partner with somebody because they did that, right? That's a very cool reading. I'm really, I'm inspired by this. So, okay, I'll leave it there. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next reading. Please like, share, and subscribe, and you can donate because that helps me elevate, right? So, and congratulations again on getting to this pinnacle. Okay, getting to this heaven, look, mid-heaven. There's the pinnacle. Somebody's in their castle, on their throne, right? There's the throne, on top of the clouds, top of the spiral staircase. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.